Hi everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram and Etsy as well. This is not the Sunday morning briefing, this is the FlossTube Extra. So I've said for a while that I was going to show you my kitted box. Now my kitted box is an 80 litre container, so there's plenty of stuff in there. And I've already shown you some of the things that were in there at the tail end of episode 59. So if you want to see the entirety of the box and you haven't seen episode 59, then go back and watch the last few minutes of episode 59 and you'll be able to see everything that's in the box. What you can't see is about a foot deep in front of me is just piles and piles and piles of stuff. I've emptied it all out of the box and it's just in front of me now to go through. So I'm just going to literally show you what I've got. So what I've considered to be kitted is not necessarily the chart, the fabric and the floss, but usually the chart, the fabric, or the chart, the floss, sometimes all three as well. But basically what I consider in my kitted box is when I've got a couple of the elements that I want to make sure that they stay together, that's when they go in a little pouch and they end up in the kitted box. I tend to use really, really cheap little pouches just because there's a lot of stuff in here. So I'm going to start off with the easy stuff. I've got 4 dimensions kits in here. Well, I've got 4 dimensions gold kits. I think there might be another couple of dimensions kits in here somewhere, but I've got 4 dimensions gold kits. So this one is the candy cane Santa stocking. And you can get this particular chart in a couple of different ways. You can get it as a rectangle picture to do, and you can get it as a stocking. So I've got one of those. I'm just going to be putting things back into the box, so you might hear things kind of thudding into the box over to the side of me here. This one is the Snowmen Gathering stocking, and that's another gold collection one. If you're not familiar with the gold collection, they obviously are fully kitted from Dimensions, but they tend to come with 18 count fabric, whereas other kits come with either 15 or 15, where do I get 15? 14 or 16 count from. So I've got that one. And then the other one I've got is this one, which is called Secret Santa Stocking. Now I have opened this one. I haven't started it, but I have opened it. And the reason I think I opened it was because I was going to swap the fabric for some 18 count easy grid, just to make it a little bit easier. And I saw someone stitch that once and I was just so blown over by it that I had to get it. And then this one. Now I know this one is out of print. Well, I saw somebody had managed to get it from Russia, but it's generally out of circulation, I would say, this one. So this one is called Santa's Nap. And the reason I wanted it, obviously, is for that little Dalmatian there. And there is another little black puppy dog there. Now I used to have a black Labrador and his name's Enzo. So I've had a black Labrador and a Dalmatian in my time. So I really liked that one. And again, that one comes with 18 count. Right, that's the easy stuff. There's another easy one. Christmas again. This is by Marejka, I think is how you say it, and it is called Magical Journey. I'm kitted up with DMC threads, and it comes with 16 count Ada. That one is just kind of a pale blue. So that one's in there. This one I wanted for ages, called Winter Cardinals. And you can see, I think I got it in a D-stash or a sale somewhere. All the bits and pieces are in there. It's just in a bit of a shop-worn packet. And I would swap out that fabric, because you see so much of the Ada, I would swap it out for a hand-dyed linen. But I do like cardinals. So there's that one. Right, now it's not all Christmas, I promise. In amongst here, I've got a whole random selection of things. So I'm just going to work my way across the top and then down. Feel free to pause at any time to grab yourself a drink, stitching, whatever, because I think this is going to be quite a long one. So in here, this is just a pretty boring one really. Well, the chart's not boring, the kit bit part of it is. This is Ink Circles, Reflections of Canada. Now this is a PDF chart that I bought, I believe I bought it straight from them. And all it's got in there is a piece of 32 count white Zweigart that I plan to use a red sulky with. I haven't put the red sulky in because most of my red sulkies are in other projects at the minute, and I want to use the really bright red one on that one. I will just have to zip them back up because otherwise it's going to end up in a big mess even in that box. So what's in here? Home for Christmas by Plum Street Samplers, and the various different call for threads that I've collected. Now I did make a start on this one once, but I didn't like my fabric, hence why it's gone back into the kitted box. So like I said, I just use these kind of cheap type A4 project bags just to keep things together. When I know I've got something more than just the chart itself, I put them in here just to keep them together so I'm not hunting for things. What have we got in here? So in here I have got Egg Hunt by Satsuma Street, and I dyed a piece of linen to do it on. In fact, I think this is even weave. Feels like even weave. Yeah. Piece of even weave. And it has got all of the various DMC threads. I couldn't get, I used to use floss away bags, and I still do sometimes. For projects that I'm using a combination of new and old DMCs, I'll probably still will use floss away bags. I couldn't find any, so that was the nearest thing I had, was these little kind of holographic push top pouches. So in there I've got all of the DMC for that. That might be quite a nice one to get out fairly soon, obviously with Easter coming up. This one I got from Chris at the Nimble Thimble. Now Steve from the Crafty Stitchers has either finished this or is working on this. I think he's finished it. There's the chart, or there's the cover picture, and it comes with black DMC and a little tiny bit of red. But the main draw of this is a fabric fair fabric which is printed with an October the 31st chart, or chart newspaper, 1963. 1693. I had always envisaged doing something else on this fabric, actually. I like the chart and I like the fabric, but I don't necessarily like the combination of them together, just because of the framing situation. You're going to have a lot of spare space that's not got stitching on it. So I've always thought I might put something else on that fabric, but I really loved them. This is a really poor kit, actually. Really poor kit. The reason this is in this box is because I've got the coffee first and I've got the spoon. That is the extent of the kit for that. I think I did have some fabric in there as well, but I probably pinched it back out for something else. So we'll draw a veil over that one. Right, oh, a little quick one there. So this is called Pink House by Riverdrift. I've done lots and lots of Riverdrift things over the years, and I always really like doing Riverdrift. This one, I think I would probably change the fabric out, but I don't know what kind of fabric I would do it on. It comes with it's probably a 14 count Ada usually with theirs, and it's got the threads in there. And if it's anything to go by, the threads that I've had from them before are usually anchor threads. I think I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, love that one. would switch the fabric out. Okay, this is a bit like Jenga as well. I've got to try and not take the wrong project bag, which is not always easy. So this one is Plum Street Samplers Garden of Erie. And I got this because I saw somebody had stitched it on blue fabric, hand-dyed fabric, and it looked lovely. So this is a piece of blue fabric that I'd hand-dyed. And, oh look at that, isn't that lovely fabric? Isn't that lovely? And so this is what I was going to do this on. This is an even weave, and I can tell you exactly where I got it because of the top. There's a big website called Sew It All, and they deal with fabric flare. All their stuff is fabric flare. In fact, I think they're the European distributor for fabric flare. And you can buy just their plain white. So I've quite a few times bought their plain white and then dyed it. And this would have been dyed using exactly the same technique that I showed you in the tutorial that I just did recently. But this is an even weave. So yeah, that's what is planned for that one. And I really want to start it now I've got it out. This is going to be the trouble. This is going to be the trouble. Going through all of this stuff, I'm literally going to want to start everything. So my whip number is going to go up again. But then the good thing is I can go shopping in my own stash. So that is a nice thing. Right, what's in this one? This looks like a kit that came from my bobbin. Quite a while ago now, my bobbin gifted me 3 charts or 3 kits. Well, what they actually did was they gifted me a certain price value, and then I could do with it what I wanted. And so I bought 3 kits. And so this was one of the kits. So the little bullfinch in the hat, and it comes with the floss and some rather dolphin friendly aider. There's quite big holes on that one. So I think again, I would love to do it, but I would probably switch out the fabric. The reason that I switch out a lot of my aider, it's not necessarily because I don't like the aider, although I will admit I prefer the look of linen in areas that is not stitched on. But the main reason is because I use the sewing method. I actually find it really difficult to sew on aider. I find it much easier to use the sewing method on linen because I don't find that my threads disappear under, whereas I do on aider. I do find them that they disappear under. So that's the main reason that, you know, if I've got a kit, I'm probably going to be looking at swapping the fabric out, unless it's a full coverage piece, in which case I probably would put it on a frame and stitch it like that, just like that. In fact, I'm not typing, I'm stitching. Right, what else have we got? Birds of a feather. Birds of a feather. Wish upon a star. Christmas stocking. Can you tell I've got a thing for stockings? And how many have I stitched? 1. How many have I got on the go? None. And this is the piece of fabric, again, I dyed for it. So that's what it'll go on. I do like it on that nice dark brown, and so that's what it will go on. Might be a candidate for using sulky actually. I think that would go into sulky quite nicely. What else have we got? Bee drum. So, this is one I haven't seen for a long time. Dames of the Needle, bee drum. And I think the one thing I would do is actually change the shape of the bee's wings, because it's got quite weird shaped wings, but I think I could probably change the shape of those wings and then what I've got to stitch it on again is another little piece that I hand dyed that's come off the bottom of something else. So nicely mottled. I did that, oh there it is, I was going to say I did get it out of a project bag. I also use this type with just a sort of fastening at the top, and I tend to buy those in packs of 4 from B&M. I think they're about £2 for packs of 4. Okay, what have we got in here? Oh, this is my little pack of animal crackers, the animal cracker series. Now I've already done one, which was the ginger cat called something. I can't think what his name was. Theodore, I think it's Theodore. And so I've got some fabric in here to do a couple more. So this is a 32 count, just a 32 count raw. And in here I have got Scarlet, who I really, really like. And also the partner to Theodore, which is Clementine, which is another little cat. And I've shown my Theodore before. He's got a big pair of scissors stuck in the back of him as a scissor holder. Okay, what's this then? You can see some of them got a little bit bent in the box, which is not ideal. So this is Little House Needleworks, Home of a Needleworker, and I think it's this, yes it is, Home of a Needleworker squared. So just that little one, and then I've got the 5 classic colourworks that came with it. So you've got eggshell, sticks and twigs, pine needles, campfire, and trail dust. So that's only a little one really, that wouldn't take that long to do. It's on 30 count portobello linen. Now I think I have a piece of 30 count portobello. I think I bought it for something else and then changed my mind. I think it was one of the linens that I trialled for the social call. If you remember, I couldn't find a linen I liked for that one. If you need a break, do take a break. Remember, tiredness can kill. Right, this one. Now this is, what's in here? A chart. Is there 2 charts in here? Do I remember putting 2 charts in here? No, just one. I thought I had 2. This is called The Old General Store by Kaniki's Prims and Whims. So that's it, and it's a PDF download from them. And I had put in a piece of 28 count weeks dye work gingham, take it out of the bag, tin roof. So I thought I might have a go at it on that one. And that's a fat 8th. Vintage Birds by Jeanette Douglas. Love this one, really, really love it. And I have got, need to put them on a ring, some of the called for overdyes. Now I know I did have more of the called for overdyes, but I also know that I have pinched, keep that bit there, I have pinched a few out of here, and it looks like I must have put one back after I used it. What's that one? Old red paint. Well, that's okay, I just bought a 10-yard skein of that one. There we go. So a few of the called for colours there, and it wouldn't take much to just get that back up to stitching weight. It's got nothing particular in it. Oh, this one. I love this one. So this is by lovely little stitching set by the Bluebird Needleworks from Etsy, and it's called Birds and Acorns, and it's a lovely little pincushion, acorn and hornbook set, and those are the called for colours. Is there any others? There's 6 called for colours, so there must be 2 that I couldn't have got at the time. But I'm sure I can easily get those when the time comes to stitch it. Yeah. Now this one is a bit of a sorry state. I just found this, it had got at the bottom of the box. I hate it when this happens. I usually try and keep them nice and flat, but it just got to the bottom of the box. So this is called Sweet Summer Come Again by Blackbird Designs, and there is a piece of fabric in there again that I dyed. This is one of the pieces that I dyed when I was doing the walnut tutorial, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. And I would say it's either a 36 count or a 38 count, that one. It's probably a 38 because I think I used some 38 in that tutorial. So that's a brilliantly kept chart. If I put it back in flat, hopefully it will reflatten. This is another one that I got in that group of charts that I got from My Bobbin, or courtesy of My Bobbin. And this is a panna one called Wax Wings. And again, it comes with all the threads and again some more kind of larger Ada. But I do like the colour on that one. So I would just dye something similar for that one. What else have we got? This one, Manor at Peacock Hill. Now, I actually asked out about this chart because I was having trouble locating it, and a very lovely stitcher gifted it to me. And I've finished now catching up with all the threads because there's quite a few threads in there to be had. So various different Valdanis, Gentle Arts, Weeks Dye Works. So yeah, I want to make a start on that one pretty soon. I've always loved that one. What else have we got? So I bought this as a D-stash, and it's all of the Little House Needleworks ABCs. So all of the charts. It came with a cut of linen, which is for this particular set, and it came also with the threads, and I actually had already put those onto a ring with, there she is, the Ugly Duchess. So that's all ready to go, and I think I would do that on one piece. Okay. Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow. Now, Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow is actually a restart for me. I started it on a piece of 32 count vintage country mocha once. What have I got? Sorry, it looks like I've got a punch in the eye, but I haven't. It's just a little shadow. I started on a piece of 32 count vintage country mocha, and I realised that it was going to be absolutely enormous. So I made a little pillow out of what I'd actually already done, and then just hand dyed some fabric to restart, and I think this is a piece of 38 count. So that's my working copy. As I said, I've restarted this once, and this is a piece of linen that I had dyed for this project, and it was actually on my whip go last year to restart it, and we all know how successful my whip go last year was. And those are the threads for the first block, but I will probably start in a different place just because I don't want to stitch the same block again to begin with, so I'll probably start in a different place. Might leave that out actually, because that would get that serged while I'm here. Let's put that over there. Might get Mama to serge that one. Right, what else have we got here? So again, another piece of linen that I dyed, and I had a few charts that I thought that I might put onto it. So I dyed this beautiful piece of purple, and it's kind of got purples and pinks and blues in it. And again, this is an even weave, probably a 32 count at a guess. And these are the ones that I'd picked out for it. So 2 prairie moons, and I quite wanted to put those next to one another, although I think this piece may be a little bit dark. I might have to put it onto a slightly paler piece, and I do have a piece of Picture This Plus 32 count Vinci, which I think they would look nice on. And then I'd also found from Cross Stitcher magazine, and I think it was the Halloween edition, that would make sense, 2020, I'd also found these 2, which I thought would possibly go on that. So it's just a couple of charts to go with that particular fabric. And I must admit, this is just kind of how I roll. I just put things together that I think will work. Right, let's go with this one. So this is an Autumn Lane stitchery chart, which I had planned to convert to sulky. Before I got my sulky set, I'd planned to convert it to sulky. So, and this is the fabric. Again, another one that I have hand dyed. Now the reason, there we go. The reason that it's this colour is this was another one of my attempts to try and get murky, and it ended up looking like the greasiest, dirtiest camo rag you've ever seen in your life. And so I just made up some orange and chucked it in a pot of orange. Now this is actually Procyon dyes. This is done with Procyon dyes. In fact, I think it was ice dyed with Procyon dyes, and then I disliked the colour so much that I just made up some orange Procyon and threw it in, and that's what it came out as. So, but I think it could look really nice on there. That's the trouble sometimes. You get an awesome piece of fabric and you think, what on earth am I going to stitch on it? So it could be either something like that, or it could be something just plain black, plain monochrome. This one is one of the Santas from Twin Peak Primitives. Now, it looks a little bit weird, my chart, because I bought the chart and then what I did was I inverted it. I flipped it because I want to put it onto this fabric. which I believe is a primitive hair fabric. And in order for it to work on this fabric, I needed him to be carrying the lantern on the other side. So I needed him to be carrying his lantern on his opposite side. So that's why I bought the chart, and then when I had the chart on my phone, I sort of screenshotted it and used that function where you just flip it, and then printed it out from the flipped side. Hence why the chart looks a little bit weird. But I love that. The colour of the coat is just incredible. This is why I need to live to be at 800. I've bumped it up now from 400. It used to be 400. I now would just say 800. Okay, Riley Harbour. Something just really random here. Again, I got this on a D-stash, and it came with the Gloriana thread. So that just goes in this box along with everything else. Okay, now Jenny Wilson, cover your ears. Jenny and I started this as my birthday start. Not this year gone, but 2 years gone. Why is it still in my kitted pile, I hear you say? Well, because I tried to be clever and dyed some fabric for it, and I didn't like it. It was too dark, looked rubbish. And so I needed to restart. And so I found a piece of just ordinary Zweigart. I think it's called Plateau. I think it's called Plateau. So I wanted it to be just a little bit off cream so that the whites would show up nicely. And sorry Jenny, it's still in my box. That really takes the biscuit, doesn't it? Getting someone to start something for your birthday and then it's still being in your kitted box 2 years later. I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. Right, what else have we got? Ah, scattered seed samplers. I love scattered seed samplers. This is a little Remember Me pin keep, and I've just got the DMC in the back. I think it's stitched on Vintage Country Mocha. Yeah, 36 count Vintage Country Mocha, which I've got some of it at home, so it's just not in here. What else have we got? Some orange stuff. Orange stuff in chart. Ah, now this is going to be interesting. Right, this is by a company called Prairie Grove Peddler, and I saw this chart sell on eBay and I missed it, and I tried to find it and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I actually contacted Prairie Grove Peddler, and they actually sold me a PDF copy of the 3 pumpkins. So what I've got in here is 3 pieces of orange fabric that I've dyed, all in slightly different orange tones. And there's a 4th one in there. Am I lying about one of them, that I didn't dye it? No. No, I think I did dye all of them. I just thought one of them might be prank all of a sudden, but I don't think it is. No, I think I dyed all of them. So they're just very slightly different tones. Now these I dyed using a jar, hence why you've got some of these bigger sort of unsplattered bits. Yeah, I think those were the 3 pieces that I dyed for it, and this was for something else, but I just put it all in the one. So I dyed them using the jar method, and then each time I put a bit of fabric in, I just changed the dye mix very slightly, added a bit of brown, a bit of yellow, just to give me 3 slightly different colours, because I just thought it would be nicer if the pumpkins were 3 slightly different colours. What else have we got? What's that? It's nothing worth writing home about. neither is that. Okay, so Blackbird Designs, and this is my working copy here. Away we ride. I've wanted to do this for ages, and I've got 2 pieces of fabric in here that I thought I might do it on. One of them, well, they're both by XU Designs. One of them is called Yellow Smoke, which I'm sure is this one. And I just had this feeling that I wanted to do it on sort of a yellowy, yellowy background, this side, because this one is more of a painted linen. So there's that one as a possibility. And my other possibility, which I am leaning more towards, is this one, which I think is called Pumpkin. She did 3 Halloween ones. Elixir, which was the greeny one, which I've used lots. A yellowy one, which is this one. And a purple one. I think I might have the purple one in here as well, somewhere. So I'm leaning more towards this one for Away We Ride. Really, really nice linen, XU Design linen. If you've never tried it, it's definitely worth trying. Okay, next up, we're getting there. We are getting there. Next up, I've got Crossed Wing Collection. And I actually got Arts and Designs up in Scotland to order this in for me because I couldn't find it anywhere. And this is called Great Blue Heron. Now I have a real thing about herons, real thing about herons. And I have a piece of XU Designs chalkboard. Now, I definitely want to do it on something dark, almost like a midnight heron. And I need to check my calculations because I remember thinking that this piece might even be just a little bit too small. So that's the plan anyway, to do it on a nice dark linen. But I remember thinking I need to check my calculations on that one. What else have we got? This one here. So this is a lovely design by Blackberry Lane, and it's called Carrots for You, and it's got the little button there and this lovely little sheep. Now a lot of Blackberry Lane, you have a bit that's over 2, and then there's often in their designs a bit that's over 1 as well. And I got it with the pins as well. And I'm pretty sure that's a Nimble Thimble price ticket there. And I've got most of the threads for it as well. Yeah, most of the threads for it. And I have got some fabric for that, actually. I know exactly which piece of fabric that would go on. Put it back in its bag. I don't think I brought my drink in. Oh well, I'll be okay. Okay, what is this? I don't even know. From the outside. Oh gosh. I've actually just bought some more of those book rings, so I think the first thing I do when I get home will be going through and putting all my threads from here onto those book rings so that they're not going to get separated. Now those are the colours. Now I think from the colours I know what it is. It is Brick House Sampler. Now I think Brick House Sampler is designed to be done in 28 count over 1. I will not be doing it in 28 count over 1. I have got, oops, a piece of 36 count platinum to do that on. Nice fat quarter of 36 count platinum. So that's what I will be doing that on. I do love that one. I think that's lovely. I've always liked that one. Okay. So this is another kit, and this is a kit that I did buy from Russia. And it's by RTO, and it's called Old Window. And it came with all the stuff, and it came with a piece of black Ada, which I've swapped for a piece of 32 count black linen, because you don't stitch the window. So Christmas cardinals, trying to say it right. Okay, let's get this one before it falls off. What is this? Ah, I know what this is. So this is back in this box because it's going to be a restart. This is Jack's Bash. And I started Jack's Bash, and I'm not even sure what fabric this is. What was the model on? Well, it's definitely not that. I think this is Relic. No, I don't. Ancient, I think this is. And I'd started it on 36 count over 2 over 2. And I wasn't loving it. But looking at it now, because I was going to restart it just using one strand, because I think it will fit just on one piece like that. But looking at it now, I might go back to that one actually as it is, because I'm doing my Through the Woods on 36 count over 2, and it's taken me a little bit of time to get back into it, and so maybe that might go back to being a whip rather than a kitted project. I've got these Farmhouse Christmas. Now these are all my working copies in here, and I've got a piece of dirty linen, but I have got a long thin piece because I have always wanted to do them in one big long line. Random. Yeah, I've always wanted to do them in a big long line. So that is what I shall be doing with that. Haven't got any threads for that one yet. And to be honest, I'll just wait, I think, until I actually start stitching these now. I'm trying not to kit up quite so much, because all of these I genuinely sort of plan to start and then I just get a little bit squirrel. Squirrel. Never mind. Makes me happy. Teresa Kogut, Newcastle Bouquet. Now, a couple of years ago when this came out at market, it was my runaway favourite. And I've kitted it up with the DMC, as you can see. I had some more of those funny little bags, or whatever was called for, I've kitted it up with. And I did make a start on it, but I didn't like the fabric. So I got our lovely Hazel from Foxglove and Lace to dye me a piece of her muted gold, is it? Muted gold? 38 count muted gold. Isn't that beautiful? That colour is amazing. Hazel, I love, love, love. Love Hazel's linen. So you can see that on Hazel's linen, she's got a lot less mottling than I have on the linens that I've shown you. The technique I showed you 2 or 3 videos ago is designed to give you mottling. If you want less mottling, you just do it in a bigger vessel with more liquid and you'll get less mottling. So that's my fabric and that is my chart. As I said, I've got all the called for ready to go because I did start it and then didn't like my fabric, so changed it. This is Mojo Stitches from Etsy. It's called Take Wing. And it's number 2 in the Bushland Quaker series. And I loved it. Again, because it's kind of, they're not herons, but they're sort of similar to herons, but you've got swans and all sorts of other birds on there. And I won't bother taking them out. I've just got most of the threads for that as well. This is an unusual one. This is just threads, but because they're for a definite project, that's why they're in this box. And I bought these for Anne Roberts. Now I bought these from the West End Thread Company, I think. And these are the Averroisoirs. Now I was thinking the other day, Anne Roberts might actually be a candidate for my St David's Day start. If you watched my video a couple of weeks ago, I talked about an idea that a lady had whose name I think is Julia, about starting a Welsh sampler on St David's Day. So I am going to show you a few examples of Welsh samplers, and I'd planned to start Mary Morgan's, who I don't think is in this box. I think she's in another box. But and Anne Roberts might, I might get the jump on Anne Roberts. Oh, I did bring my drink in. Marvellous. Right, there we go. This project has gone from being the kitted project to the started project to a kitted project. This is Kingdom of Books, and Hannah Maniac has been stitching this. Got all of the threads for it because it was a kit, and I've always wanted to do mine as a night scene, and I've gone between 36 count, 32 count, and I think this is 38 count that I dyed. I've always wanted to do it as a night scene, and it looks, it might be a 36 actually. Yeah. So I will get round to this. This is one that's been a false start several times. I love it, but I just haven't been happy. It's like, oh, Anne Grimshaw. I've started Anne Grimshaw several times as well. By several, I mean like 4. I think I'm on number 4. And I like it now. These are the threads for Christmas Garden, which I'm sure you all know. That one. Now this is the same set of threads that Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher, had chosen. So 4 different Glorianas. So you've got Black Cherry is the red one, the green is Thistle Green, the yellow is Old Gold, and the brown is Coffee Bean. Sorry, I just got a random itch right in the middle of my forehead. So I've seen it done where the yellow is replaced with white, or a white is added in, and I really liked it. So I may also either add in a white or take the yellow out and put a white in. Right, I've got to the bottom of one of my piles. The rest is a little bit skewy still. So this, I was given for my 40th birthday. And this is Learning Stitches Sampler by Jeanette Douglas. And that is the sampler. And you do literally go through this book and you learn how to do the various different stitches that are there. The actual sampler chart is at the back, and it's I'm going to have to get it enlarged because it is literally this tiny little sampler at the back. So that is how big it is. So I'm going to have to get it enlarged in order to do it. And I also was given the thread pack for it, the silk pack for it. Because to do her pieces, to buy all the silks for it would be just really phenomenal. And I have a piece of, I think it is platinum. Although this piece actually, I've never been 100% sure what it is, because I bought it as platinum, and when it arrived, it was a slightly different colour to all the platinums I've ever had. So I'm not sure if it is, but I like it anyway. I also had for my 40th birthday my biggest kit that I haven't got here, that I haven't started yet either. Now I'm 42, and this is shameful, but I have a chatelaine. I have the Sparkling Swans chatelaine, fully kitted, that my mum got me for my 40th birthday. And I really need to start it. Really, really need to start it. Okay, Scarlet House Entwined Hearts with the called for fabric and threads. I think the DMC might be in the box at home for that, but everything bar the DMC is in there. What is this? So the Scarlet House did sort of twin charts. So A Perfect World and Seeking Refuge. So I've got both of those, and I dyed, now this is a 38 count, I know for sure, twin fabrics for them. They are actually the same, they were in the same dye pot. So they are actually the same. And there's nothing stopping me unkitting any of these at any point, but I'm quite happy just to have them sort of as they are together in a different part of my stash. This one you've seen quite recently, Lucy Beam's Disturbed Women. I dyed a piece of fabric to go with this from, and I sent a piece to Christina as well from Whilst Iris Naps, who I'm not sure whether she thought I was being cheeky sending her fabric for a chart called Disturbed Women, but she said she liked it. So just the bit in the middle, if you look, goes there. It's supposed to be Witch's Brew by Lappin Loops on Etsy, but I thought I'd just have a go at doing my own. Okay, not quite an hour yet. A little bit to go, not too far. I've got this in my stash as well, Santa Faces. Santa is the spirit of Christmas. I've had that for quite a long time. One day. One day. Now, Steve, Crafty Stitches, have you ever seen this one? Because I know you have a black Labrador. No, I had a black Labrador. And this is a Dimensions kit. I had to get it from America because I've never seen it over here. I got it from 123 Stitch. It wasn't very expensive, but I just love the Labrador sitting with all those birds on his back. Now, I wouldn't do it on the fabric that it comes with, just because I would pick a colour fabric, sort of a hand dyed, maybe something similar to an ale, or even maybe a blue. But I think in my mind's eye I've always seen it on something like ale. this one. This is 7 red alphabets, and I have a piece of 40 count birch, which is a long quarter. Have I said that right? Yeah, no, a long half, sorry. A long half, so there'll be quite a bit of that left over. And at home I have a cone of DMC 498, which is what I would do that on. This is a little freebie. This is by Lindy Stitches, and it's called Peter's Day Out. There we go, Peter's Day Out. And I have a little piece of Pole Stitches fabric. I thought I might do that on. Isn't that lovely? It is called Lust and Laughter. I don't know if that's one that is a you know, a frequent flyer in their catalogue, or whether it's one that was a you know, a limited edition one. I got it in a D stash. I do like that colour. Another Pole Stitches fabric. This is one I've showed you fairly recently. This is Mirabilia's Snow Queen, and I wanted to do her on a piece of fabric that reminded me of, I won't take it out. Oh yeah, well. Oh yeah. Sorry, rustle. I wanted to do it on a piece of fabric that reminded me of the Northern Lights. And on the fabric viewer, she looks nice on this. Not necessarily a choice which you might go to straight away, but on the fabric viewer, it does look really, really nice. So I haven't got any of the threads or anything for that. I do keep my eye out on eBay, just in case anybody puts up a Snow Queen kit. I'm in no rush to start. It'd be lovely to do it as a snow day stitch, but I'd get about 4 stitches done once every, that's nothing important, once every 10 years, I think. Foxwood Crossings, this is my piece of prank. This is the It's Halloween by Foxwood Crossings. That wouldn't take very long to do at all, would it? And this is Picture This Plus prank that I bought to go with it. And it's a 28 count. This one I was gifted. It's their most recent one actually. It's the Mandala Lion by Maloka Stitches, or Maloka Designs, beg your pardon. And it comes with all the threads and some white Ada, which I don't know, I'm not sure what size it is. But again, I think I would do him on a different colour fabric, just to really try and highlight his beautiful colours. Right, I'm going to have, excuse me, this is not a product placement, this is just a dry throat. Okay, this one now, I loved this one when it came out. Baliwick by Rosewood Manor. And I have collected and put onto little floss drops all of the DMCs for that one, except for those two, for some reason. It just needs fabric, that one. Oh, I just want a paper cut. Okay, a few more to go. This one is Autumn Quakers again by Rosewood Manor, and I have a piece of white chocolate by Permin, and the little gorgeous Valdani threads. I'd love to start that one, but people keep telling me, or I keep hearing, that it's quite heavy on the changing colours front, so I need to be in the right frame of mind for this one. Ruth Batchelor, this one, the Scarlet Letter. I have a feeling I've showed you her fairly recently when I showed you some kitted samplers that I had for Sampler September. Look, it's even bleeding now. So, kitted with the DMC and some white 28 count it looks like. I would probably get new DMC just in case there isn't enough there and I needed extra. The Moonlight Sampler by the Blue Flower, which I love, but I'm not letting myself start it until I have finished stitching Huckleberry Farm. So there's the Moonlight Sampler, and I picked out some Zweigart Nugget or Nougat, however you want to call it, for that one. It is more purpley than it looks. It is, in person, it's a better match to what the picture looks like. So this is another candidate for my Welsh sampler start, and this is Hands Across the Sea, A. Thomas, the Nellies, with the elephant on it. And I've got it a piece of 32 count cream and the DMC. It's a really nice cream, this one. It's almost like a pale yellow, which I think would be really good for the Nellies. So that's a contender for my Welsh sampler start as well. This one will be being started in February, and she's going to go on to one of the pieces that I hand dyed the other day. So this is Ada Featherstone, and the threads come from Fibres to Dye For, which is Amy Mitten, and she does them as silk thread packs that you can buy. Now these are different, slightly different silks. They just come single-stranded, and you stitch with just one strand. And I've got one of her kits already started, and she recommends that you use 32 count, and the coverage is lovely. This one is the Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee, which I have in a lovely project bag that I was gifted. Today I went down to the Patchwork Rabbit. One of the lovely ladies bought me a project bag that they'd made. In fact, there was two lovely ladies that had bought me project bags. And these are the threads for Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee. And this is my fabric. This is I think it's a 40 count vintage country mocha that I then attacked with some walnut dye. And I think actually, yeah, I think I'd planned to use the non-mottled side and just go with the splotches that I'd made, because I think the side with the splotches and the mottling is too much, because the mottling to me is always very vertical or horizontal depending on how you have it. So I wanted to use the non-mottled side, and that was the plan. So that's going to wait until Halloween time, or maybe it might get in for some dark 13 stitching before then. My problem with dark 13 stitching is remembering to do it. That is the issue. This was a chart that Lynn Mosley had sent, and this is Stacey Nash Redwork Stitching Pocket. And then another viewer had sent me some Cosmo 246. So I'd put those two together. Last view. Actually, let's not bother with that one because that's really nothing much to write home about. What was that one? Those are the threads for Harriet Goddard. Need the chart for that. Haven't got that one yet. That's not what I thought it was. Okay, see, getting through them. Barbara Anna designs Portuguese bird. So this is what the Portuguese bird looks like. And that's all the DMC for said Portuguese bird. And that is a chart that I purchased from, I think I got it from the Patchwork Rabbit. It's not a download chart. You can get it as a download from Creative Hoppy, but that one's a hard copy chart. This little beauty is Anathes by Permin of Copenhagen, and I bought this as a kit with the fabric and all the floss. So, all on floss cards, and there is the fabric, which is obviously a Permin fabric. I don't know if it tells me the name. No. Not that I can see quickly anyway. Well, I'll tell you what it is. I'll say it's nothing much to write home about, but it's the little gem from Hands Across the Sea, the rose one. And I've got a few DMCs in here, and some fabric. 40 count light mocha I'd got in there. Strawberry Bird by The Blue Flower. Love this one. It was a complete bolt out of the blue when I saw it, and now I see it everywhere. And it's got some of the threads in there. Probably just the overdyes. Oh, hiccups now. I still got hiccups. Okay. This was the November Snapshot by Sandra Workman, and again you can get them as PDF downloads. And I've just got the DMC with that one. I did the October one and had grand designs of doing lots of the months, and I've done the October one. I didn't buy all the other designs, I just had designs of doing them. So this is a purple piece of fabric that I mentioned that is in existence. This is called Witch's Brew by X2 Designs. One of the sides is not better than the other, but one of the sides is more sort of brightly coloured, because I think the purple is sprayed on almost, and then the other side is slightly less. And this was to do Halloween Quaker on, and this is my working copy. So that was my plan for Halloween Quaker. That one I can't remember what the chart was. I've got some fabric and some DMC. and I can't remember which chart it was for. I know which shop the chart comes from, so I've just got to look and see which ones I bought. I quite liked this one. This was one of the very first kits that I bought. It's called Merry Mouse Sleigh Ride. And it's by Donna Gallagher, Creative Needle Arts, and I just thought it was quite cute. I don't know if I'll get around to doing it, but it's in there. This was a restart, or will be a restart. This is the Witchy Stitcher, We're Made for Each Other. The one with Morticia, is it Morticia? Idiot, I'm an idiot head. Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. I'm thinking, why is Frankenstein with Morticia Adams? That doesn't make sense. Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. Clues in the name, Michelle, clues in the name. And I started it on some fabric and I didn't like it. So that is back in the kitty box as a restart. This is called Black Pumpkin by Sub Rosa. And this is a piece that I hand dyed using Procyon dyes. And it has a little sulky thread in with it. Now this is the dark grey. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I just love that colour. I love, love, love that colour. We are getting right towards the end now, folks. The end is in sight. Fear not. Fear not. This one I think I might have shown you fairly recently as well. This is another Scarlet letter. This is called the Knox Family Sampler. And it's got kit, fabric and DMC. And again, this is another one where the DMC is quite old, so I might end up buying the DMC again when I come to stitch it. Just in case. Just in case. And this one is all of the DMC for another chart that's on the Silk app. And it is called, it's either American Homes or American Gardens. I think it's American Gardens. And my plan, random, my plan was to stitch it in its different component parts. I think it's got, is it 12 different component parts? Some are stitched on white, some have got a blue background, some have got a slightly different coloured blue. So I dyed some fabrics and I was going to stitch them, instead of doing all the blue background and all the white background, I was going to stitch them on the appropriate colour and then sew them all together. And I do have that chart in my Silk app. The Silk app is really great if you have not seen it before. Another one that I have got, I've got two more after this, just my working copy for, and this is Alice by RETM, and I'm sure you've all seen it before. And the fabric that I have picked out for that is a 28 count vintage blue Zweigart. It's the same one that I'm doing my Deck the Halls on. Two more. Is this the actual chart or is this my working copy chart? Oh no, this is the actual chart. Matter's Choice. I've always seen this chart stitched in dark blue with yellow at the top. I don't know why. It just always reminds me almost like of a lighthouse with the light at the top. So I've always seen it in dark blue with yellow at the top. And so My threads that I've picked out are blackbird, which is a very, very dark blue, almost black, and Grecian gold. I was looking for a skein of Grecian gold. Ah, that's the yellow in the swans. Nobody had Grecian gold except for Chris at the Dimple Thimble, and I had her last skein. Whew, at least I've got another skein of Grecian gold now. How funny. How funny. Last one. If you're still with me, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Oh, no, I love this one. Lucinda Fraser. This is by Needlework Press. And Needlework Press designed, this is Lucinda Fraser's original here, which is on perforated paper. Needlework Press added a row of extra doodads on the bottom, which I wouldn't do. The reason that I like this sampler is because I liked the cartouche shape that she's got. So I wouldn't add that extra row of doodads on the bottom. And I've got a piece of fabric that I dyed, which is quite just a normal neutral. Leave that out as well because that hasn't been serged. And 3 out of the 4 DMCs. I feel like meatloaf. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. And that's it. That's everything that's in my kitted box. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look through. You might see some of these things getting stitched. You might see new things jumping straight ahead of them. There is no queuing system in this box. Everything has a random chance, along with everything else that's new that comes into the house. I hope you've enjoyed. I will see you soon. Stay classy, Stitchers.